So if you look at the world of personal care and cosmetic formulations, why are we interested in sustainability, right? Because one of the things is the drivers, is the consumer drivers. Anything we do in the cosmetic industry is usually driven by kind of the consumers and the mega trends, right? So we want to align with those consumer mega trends and move in the right direction. And because the consumers are asking you to kind of make formulations which are more sustainable, they want to use formulations which have a less impact on the environment, right? So if you kind of look at that aspect of things, they're looking at this from a range of different kind of aspects, right? So it's not only about kind of that they're looking for sustainability in skincare products, or they're looking for sustainability in hair care products. They're asking for sustainability across the board, right? So from that perspective, what I wanted to do is kind of look at all these three major aspects or categories, if you will, in the cosmetic industry, and illustrate some of the work that we've done in terms of moving towards kind of sustainable alternatives, but which have also very interesting opportunities in terms of performance attributes and performance engineering, as I call it. So I'm going to talk about two examples from the hair care area. One is combined, and you'll see there's two interesting kind of ingredients, if you will, which I'm going to talk about here in the hair care. One is silk fibroin, and another one, which was just a very recent publication, which came out, I think, last Friday, which is on using hyaluronic acid in hair care formulations. So both silk and hyaluronic acid are going to be things I'm going to highlight, and kind of you're going to see kind of how we've engineered formulations based on these two ingredients. Skincare, one of the areas which people are talking a lot about nowadays is kind of the need for more drastic effects, right? In skincare, when you're talking about anti-wrinkle and other things. So skin regeneration is an area which is kind of growing a lot in importance in the cosmetic area. So how do you kind of create sustainable skin regeneration formulations, aspects which might also give some interesting sensory cues, right? So that's another aspect which I'll kind of cover here. And the third one is on makeup, and I'll talk about an example in terms of creating sustainable emulsions by using silica particles, biosurfactants, and natural oils, and exemplify it through kind of a formulation that we've done for lip gloss. So hopefully, when I said sustainable cosmetic formulation designed for cosmetics, I wanted to cover a broad area of cosmetics, not just give you an example from one area like hair care, because I know the interest is varied. So I wanted to kind of cover multiple different areas. So we're going to give these little vignettes of kind of going through and giving you these little stories about what we did. So I won't go in depth in any of these areas. They are a little bit technical, as I was kind of telling Mary a little bit, in the sense that I work a lot in rheology. So you'll see quite a bit of rheology curves. But I'll kind of go through and explain the main aspects of what the knowledge base that we're extracting from those curves and how we're utilizing them in some sort of formulation aspect and an application aspect. Okay. So we'll kind of go through these three examples. But again, as I mentioned, the reason we're doing this is about the consumer driver, right? So again, and this is a couple of years old, but it's still true in the sense that when you look at consumer requirements and what are the drivers which are driving the consumer behavior and their kind of requirements, you're seeing that primarily that there's an increasing demand for kind of natural and sustainable ingredients in cosmetic products, and moving towards kind of green cosmetics or clean beauty. You've heard these terms, and I think those are kind of market trends and drivers which are here to stay, at least in the near to medium term, because those are kind of are not only important for consumers. I think in general, if you kind of look at the environmental footprint that cosmetics are bringing onto the on a global scale, we need to be aware of that and kind of address that from that perspective. So I think it's very important that we start to think about this in serious terms. But what does that mean for a formulator, right? What do you think about when you say that, right? So that means primarily that if you start at this diagram here and you start on this left side, you're thinking about that in order to kind of switch over to sustainable formulation, you are going to probably have to use novel sustainable chemistries and novel ingredients, etc., right?